Hello everyone. Jump scare. I'm on camera for this one. I'm going to do a quick post-release review. This is not going to take very long as a video because there's not too much to talk about just now. After playing about 12 hours with this save and about 2 or 3 hours trying out other countries and whatnot, I think I'm in a safe position to do a little bit of a post-launch review and offer you my thoughts and my verdict on the current state of the game and what the future holds for us. Now, to preface this, if anyone's not seen any of my videos, I talk about it extensively. I've been a Europa Universalis fan since the mid-2000s, ever since the second game. I remember picking up the second game, Europa Universalis 2, and I was instantly hooked. I probably sank thousands of hours in that game. We were playing multiplayer Europa Universalis when it was just open lobbies and there would be the same 50-60 people. It was glorious, it was wonderful, but of course, there were always problems with the game. And then since then, I've played every iteration of Crusader Kings, all the way back to the first one. I've played all the iterations of Victoria, Hearts of Iron, and yeah, so I'm pretty well versed in the Paradox Grand Strategy games and the progress I'm expecting to see from it, including what it was like before, about 10-15 years ago, and how it is now. After Victoria 2, with Crusader Kings 2, they changed to a very DLC-heavy model, which is still a little up in the air for me. I like it, and I like that it adds so much more than the 2 or 3 expansion packs we would have before. But at the same time, it can really flood you, and it also, you can't escape the feeling that some features and even outright bugs and gameplay elements aren't really fixed until the relevant DLC is up. And I think with this game, there's a little bit of that situation, but it's not as egregious as what we had in Imperator Rome, for example, or the launch of Victoria 3, or the launch of Crusader Kings 3. I remember the launch of Europa Universalis 4 very clearly, since I'm an old man, and when the 4th game released, I was also an old man. And this feels similar to how that launch felt. I'll explain that further in a little bit. But as a comparison, for those of you who've played, I would say Crusader Kings 3, when it launched, it felt really empty. It felt... There weren't many bugs. It didn't feel like there were many bugs or any much unfinished content, but it felt very bare bones. There was really nothing you could do other than paint the map. And I would say, starting from around last year, it's really started to hit its stride, and Crusader Kings 3 is finally, especially with the last expansion, I haven't played it personally, but I've only heard good things, and I will get around to it when there's a discount, because God forbid you skip a couple of DLCs and have to face the prospect of buying them all at once. So I'll get around to it eventually when I have time and when it goes into a discount, maybe for Christmas, the Christmas discount that we're bound to get in a month or so. But what I'm trying to say is Crusader Kings 3 took around 4 years to get good. Similarly, Victoria 3, now it's starting to hit its stride. It's still not there yet. It's still not in as good of a position as CK3 is. So, but it's getting slightly better, and you can see the potential, and that game will probably start to hit its stride in a couple of years as well. I'm hoping that it doesn't take that long for this game to get to where I want it to be. Now, to clear this up, this game doesn't feel as bare bones, because as any of you who've played it, or even if you haven't played it yet, if you've watched enough videos on it, you'll always hear about how complex it is, and I really do like the depth. It feels very deep. There are so many mechanics that feed off each other. The buildings you build, they affect the price in the market prices affect how your population buys and sells these things and how happy they are also. But if they're too happy, if you build too many buildings of one type, one faction, one estate gets too strong and you have to balance it. How do you balance it? Well, you've got to invest in them. You have to give them privileges. Oh, but also you've got to look after an army and so on and so forth. There's a lot of things. So it doesn't feel like Crusader Kings 3 where you just sort of painted the map. It feels like there's a lot to do here. However, it is extremely undercooked. I think there was a review I watched just at launch. I forgot who it was, and I hope you'll forgive me, but he said the game was in a great state, but it's severely under-polished. It really needed polish, and I didn't quite get what he meant. He kept saying, oh, it needs polish, it needs polish. Let me expand. What it means is a lot of systems are broken, and not in the, overpowered sense way. Like, it doesn't work. Frankly, it doesn't work. Again, for those of you who haven't watched the episodes that I've done on Ulm, we got into a little war with the Hanseatic League because I accidentally joined the league, not knowing that I would become their vassal. And then there was no way to leave them. I assumed that it would be sort of an economic union. You used to have that in the older Europa Universalis games. And I thought it was that kind of thing, but no, it was a direct overlordship. And as soon as I wanted out, I realized that there's no real decisions to do it. There's no way to trigger other than creating a Independence War Casus Belli and then declaring a war of independence. So that's fine, whatever. We did that. And then the first time I did it, Brandenburg was summoned on me and they absolutely crushed me. So I had to peace out. And then I worked on it for a few more decades, in-game decades, of course. And, well, long story short, I managed to separate Hansa from its allies with the with this function. Let me see if I can show you. Hang on a minute, hang on. So it's under, I believe, isolate from allies. This is really broken, by the way. Like, if you get enough favors, you can just separate them from all of their allies. I'm not sure if it's the same for everyone or if it just worked out for Hansa for me. But it's really that was broken to start out with. But after I isolated them from their allies and they were the only ones I had to fight, I immediately declared my war of independence. And they were the only ones. It was just me against them. Well, they don't have any armies, the Hanseatic League. They don't have a home territory. So I walked all the way to Lübeck with my army. And I didn't have access to get into Lübeck because the owner then was this Danish Nobelburgers. And I had to pay to get access, which is fine. I assumed that, I would get access to Lübeck. And then when I entered my soldiers, we would siege their buildings or whatever. No such thing. There is nowhere on the map that you could siege to get the Hanseatic League, to get any war score against the Hanseatic League. And I went on to Reddit and I went on to the Discord and I asked other people, and other people have reported so many problems with the Hanseatic League, both as a player and both playing against them. Other people have felt the same issues that I did with regarding to getting war score on them. The solution that was offered was give them land and then they'll lose their non-game status, and then you can then occupy that land and you will have knocked them out. But that's too gamey. That goes against any sort of roleplay that you want to do. So that wasn't an option. So what ended up happening was I just parked my army. Nothing happened. There was no fight. And after about 5 years or 6 years, the war score ticks over to 25, and then you sue for a white peace, and that's it. And thankfully, the white peace actually gave me my independence. So it worked out in the end, but it was very awkward. It was very weird, and you definitely started to feel the cracks. Other areas where you definitely feel the cracks are with the values. Now, this is the slider system. It's been around for ages. It was a very prominent part of both CK2 and CK3. And a lot of it, like the power of centralization over decentralization, it's very apparent. But at least in Europa Universalis 2, if you played someone like the Ottomans or the Mamluks or any country with many, many, many different cultures and vassals, going decentralization was actually much better. In this game, I mean, you get loyalty of subjects plus 20%, but there's nothing else that it offers you. And there's other problems with the... Oftentimes, one of these options is so much more superior to the other option. Like, one of the biggest problems is free subjects versus serfdom. Serfdom is so much better. Speaking of serfs being so much better, your levies are incredibly strong compared to any professional army, even in the late game. So, not the very, very late game. I didn't get to the very, very late game, but at least until the late mid-game. Now I'm just throwing terms around, and I don't mean to confuse you. What I'm saying is, for a very, very, very long time, at least until the 1700s, Levies are just so much more powerful. You don't really have to worry about professional armies, which is kind of counterintuitive because there's a whole research tree to do with them. Like, it's clear. This doesn't feel broken like City Skylines 2, where the concepts are just wrong and you feel like the game needs a whole redesign. Like with City Skylines 2, none of the simulation works. It's just a nice little asset popping game, a nice little detailing game. But here, the system, you can tell that they're going to work on it. It feels like this game should have come out 6 months later. And that's why I'm going to suggest to anyone who hasn't bought it yet, who isn't, who feels like they're not going to fall victim to the hype around this, and seeing all the videos and everyone posting incredible videos, because it is fun for a while, and then it starts to lose its I want to say spark. You start seeing the cracks, and once the cracks start to appear, you realize how unfinished this game is. So yeah, some of this stuff, it's very unfinished. On the other hand, the market system feels great. It feels like it's consequential up to a certain point. That's when the other problem arises, where you're just like, oh, I can see this game getting really good 3 or 4 DLCs in. So my advice to all of you is, if you want to wait, if you can wait, and if you don't want to spend money on it, you wouldn't be missing out on anything. Definitely wait for a couple of months, and at least until February, when the first DLC comes out. They've written on their forums that the first DLC will come out around February, sorry. And generally they post big content patches along, free patches with the DLC. So even if you don't buy the DLC, you get a lot of the benefits from it. So maybe wait until February, I'd say. And if you've already got the game, I mean, you've already played it, you already know what I'm saying, you already know how you feel about everything I'm saying. I think it's okay to... I'm not angry like I was with City Skylines 2. I can see the potential, and I also noticed on their forums that they're going to do weekly updates, which is great. If they stick to weekly updates, that's going to be great. You can go find it's on the official Paradox forums. It's a pinned comment. It's called the Tinto Diaries, after the Paradox Tinto studio, the studio that's making this, with Johan at the helm, who's been in charge of this ever since the start. So I actually trust Johan a lot with his design decisions, and I know he'll do his best and make this game very playable, hopefully before 4 years. Hopefully in a year or so it'll start to get really good. I mentioned how this felt like Europa Universalis 4's start. Europa Universalis 4 felt exactly like this. A little less broken, but it felt like there wasn't much to do, but the potential was there for you to see how deep it could go, and eventually it did get there. That got there a lot quicker than the other games, I'll say that much. That I remember Europa Universalis 4 getting good around a year and a half in, and I hope this gets better quicker than that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a couple of years for this to get to a much better state. So, final verdict, game as good as a base. If you haven't bought it yet and you're not in a rush and you can brush off the FOMO, don't buy it. Wait for some updates. Maybe wait for a discount in the future along with the DLCs. You never know the offers you're going to get. And if you do have the game and you're a little disappointed by it, just give it a few weeks. They're going to update every week. Like, come back in a month. Come back in a couple of months. See what they've changed, what they've added. One more thing. As a test game, I really wanted to play Japan. I thought, we'll play Ulm for a bit and then I'll do a Japan run. And then I just wanted to see what the starting... And it felt... Japan also felt unfinished. And from what I've seen on the same Tinto post, the Tinto Diary post, China's also a little problematic. There are a lot of things that aren't working with China either. Japan as well, and they're going to slowly start fixing that a weekend. So for me, I've decided to pause on this, hit the brakes on Europa Universalis 5 for a couple of months. I'll come back, take a quick look in January maybe. February definitely when I get the DLC, because I did buy the Ultimate Edition. I promise myself every single time one of these Paradox Grand Strategy games are released that I will not buy the Ultimate Edition, but I did anyway. like I said, this game has a very soft spot in my heart. So I ended up going for it. And I will say, I don't feel bad about it. I'm happy about it. But I'm also thankful that there are so many games to play that are upcoming and that are already out that I can comfortably pause this game and come back to a future date. So, yeah. It's alright. It's going to get better. But we're not quite there yet. It really needs some more time in the oven. And I'm pretty sure that almost everybody who plays will agree with me. So, yeah, that's about it. I don't want this to go on for too long. Those are my thoughts. Let me know if you think otherwise. This isn't engagement bait, I'm genuinely interested in what people think. And maybe there's something I missed. But other than that, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.